Hello everyone, this is gonna be a quick video about my solo trials build for Darkblight and Invocator. I use Darkblight depending on the situation, Invocator depending on the situation, so from boss to boss. But I'm gonna talk about both as they're very similar on the way that you play. The build that I use right now is just adapting from my glass cannon / PvE build that I made on the guide. The only difference that I changed was the boots from the Imperial boots to the Violent Demonic Beast Fur boots, because this boot's a lot cheaper and it's a lot easier to get, and it works just as fine, if not better. So I use this one. You can see it's not even fully traded part of the gear. For the weapons, I use Barkans and Tevents. I think it's the best, but you can swap, of course, Barkans for the Luznoa or Peerless if you only have those, and Tevents for like Deckman or Codex if you only have those. The important thing is the 50 strength on the status for the heavy, 80 dex for the crit damage, at least 40 perception would be ideal for the buff duration, and everything else on the wisdom. So for the skills, what you're gonna want to pick is mostly anything that is single target, or at least that contributes to single target damage. Like everything here has been mostly focused on doing the single target DPS for the solo trials, but at the same time with a little bit of sustain. The sustain comes from the passives here. As you can see, I pick most of the one passives. I only skip the Saint's Oath, and I pick up the Rifle Edge for the crit damage, and the Assassin Instinct for the Mastery. On the Mastery that I'm talking about, for the daggers, what I like to pick is this Bloodseeker, which will give you some health regen for your crit damage. That's why you pick the Assassin Instinct. Then you pick all of the three from the attack tree. Those will proc with the Vampiric Contract from the one passive that you will end up healing a lot. And on the Tacticus tree, you just need to pick the Dexterous Power, the last node, for the 8% crit damage increase. So for the one, what I like to do here, right now is select the Vampiric Onslaught, because I use this for my PvE piece set, but you can just remove a point here, re-add, and change it to something else, because you want to leave this node here, the Vampiric Onslaught, without the Mastery, so it heals you instead. So what it does, the Vampiric Contract, is every time you do damage with a curse, or even just normal damage, like on a cursed enemy, for example, the Dagger poison hits, it will heal you for 17.4% of that damage. So that's your main sustain. You're just gonna be doing autos and like spamming curses on the enemy, and you're gonna be healing from the Vampiric Contract. Everything else is just for more damage, basically. The important mastery here would be the Abyssal Burst for the small curse bombs that are gonna be proccing, and the corrupting hit is also very important because it's gonna help you save a lot of mana. The reason why this is gonna save you a lot of mana is every time you do a basic attack with the dagger as well, it has a 15% chance of putting a dot on the enemy. That means you can stack dots just by using auto attacks. That can save you a lot of mana in case you notice you're starting to run out of mana while killing the boss. You're gonna be using those 4 passives here. If you don't have it, just pick any of the other ones from before. You could pick even Revitalization if you are feeling like you like the healing from to kill the boss. But I like to use those 4. The way you're gonna be fighting the boss is very simple. You're basically gonna be trying to stack the boss the entire time and keep the curse explosion going the entire time. All the other skills are gonna be fillers that you're gonna be using in the meantime. But as Darkblight, that's kind of it. You just gotta do the one-shotty mechanics of the bosses. If you can do those, then the rest of the boss doesn't really matter that much. The important part for the Darkblight on the soul trials is the mana. You're gonna want to use the mana potion and the mushroom food for mana regen. Not only that, if you want to get a little bit more mana, what I suggest personally is using Fountain of Life, because this with the mana spec, you're gonna get a little bit of mana from the cast. You can use the Dagger parry, because this is gonna give you some mana regen on the static parry, so you can use that to regen a bit of mana. And another thing that you're gonna want to do the entire time is use the mastery for the one of malicious focus, because this will keep proccing your full corruption, which will also give you some mana regen. So this is basically the main way you're gonna be keeping your mana up the entire time while fighting the boss. Another really important thing, like I said, is gonna be to manage your mana by using auto attacks and other things, to avoid like using your whole mana before the fight ends and then ended up not having enough mana to cast spells and heal yourself. A few other details that you can use in these fights, in the Soul Trials fights, is your Curse Explosion is basically a full health recovery if you have Curse stacks, so keep that in mind. You can save that for this occasion. The Fountain of Life you can drop basically at any time, is always going to be useful. And you can use the Poison with the Inject Venom and this Frenzy Sword Dance to almost heal yourself full the entire time as well. Well, for the Invocator, it's also similar. The only thing that you change is basically the Dagger here. The gear is all the same. You change it for Abyssal Fossey, or if you have Daigon or Deluz Noah or Belandir, whatever, you can put it here. It should work just as fine. Same thing here on Tevent. You're gonna want to put Deckman or Codex, and should work just as fine. For the Staff Wand, you don't really need to care too much about any status. I just like to recommend the 50 Strength, the 40 Perception, and try to get the most that you can on Wisdom and Dex, mostly Wisdom, because Dex doesn't matter that much in this setup. You just care more about Wisdom. For skills, this is what I use. It's very similar to the one Dagger. Everything is basically self buffs and singular target. Like, this is the same setup I use for the Peace boss for PvE, right? That I made my guide for ranking 1 to 3, top ranking on the Peace PvE boss is the same setup. The only thing that I changed here is on the wand. Like I said, I changed the Vampiric Onslaught that I usually use on Peace PvE boss to something else like Battle Spirit, so I can have the Vampiric contract without this mastery. This will allow me to heal during the fight. So that's where your sustain mostly is gonna come from. It's very similar to the Darkblight setup. You're just gonna keep doing a lot of dots, a lot of curses, and you're gonna be healing yourself with Curse Explosions, for example, from the Vampiric Onslaught. And the biggest advantage is you can also heal yourself using Hellfire Rain, the Judgment Lightning, and the Fireball. Those all will heal you by a good chunk of health. So that's how you're gonna use those skills to sustain yourself. That's kind of it, really. It's just a very basic setup, very simple. Both use the same rooms, both use the same gear, basically. For the rooms, just a small detail, of course, I can display here. Oh, sorry, not the rooms, the artifacts. I just like to use the 4-piece for the Chaotic and one for the Plains Ravager, which is the green solar stone that you can get. You can pick a specific type. And the Lunar Stone, I like to use Ancestral Armor Lunar Stone, but you can also use the Abyssal Beast Lunar Stone if you prefer to not risk with the low health. I just think both work just as fine. But that's kind of it, really. Thank you for watching, and see ya.